Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Wednesday, November 26th, and this is your helpful place for news, commentary, and crypto Q&A. It's the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. in Buenos Aires. If you've got a question, leave it below. And if you're listening in the future, hello. We hope that your candles are green. We would love to hear your questions. Where the show lives 24/7, I'm talking about community.rumshq.com. We've got all kinds of good stuff there. The only thing missing is you. And today, I am very pleased to tell you we are joined by our good friend, Giancarlo, a.k.a. GN, a.k.a. Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, from Polygon, welcome him back to the show. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. It's been a little chaotic. I've been on vacation. First vacation I took for the whole year. I was in Mexico City getting engaged. So
what?
Nice.
You're engaged? Amazing.
I know. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, it's so coming back, as you guys probably know, coming back after taking a hiatus, work is piled up to the ceiling. So yeah, if I don't seem my usual super amped up, it's because I'm pretty tired. So
tell me about it. Okay, so I knew you got engaged. I was really just like fooling around for the show. Everybody is gonna throw in their comments. I already know it. People are very thrilled whenever something good happens to one of the people we love. So Mexico City, was it like a sentimental place for you guys? Did you have a romantic dinner? Was there like a, candlelit waterfall? What was the moment?
Yeah, funny enough, because it was a surprise, so she had no idea, and it's her birthday too. So I was today is actually her birthday, but I was telling her, I was like, hey, for your birthday, let's do a trip somewhere. We usually do a trip for her birthday. Last year we went to Japan, and so this year I knew I was going to propose. And I was like, hey, so where do you want to go for your birthday? She said Mexico City. I was like, you sure you don't want to go to like Italy or like Greece or like, Barcelona? She's like, no, it's just Mexico City is so much closer by. So there's no real sentiment for us there. It was just close by and she wanted to go check it out. So it was a great time though, man. I hired like a professional photographer to like hide in bushes. And like I took her to a beautiful national park, did the whole thing. So it was a great time, man. Couldn't have asked for it to have gone better. Mexico City's cool. It's like if Barcelona and Brooklyn, New York had a baby. That's what like Mexico City is. It's pretty sick. Actually.
I've never been. I've only heard great things, but it sounds like you did a good job with the proposal. So nice.
Yeah, I think so. For someone who's terrible at planning stuff, I think I did all right.
Man, yeah, seriously, congratulations. I was way more nervous, like, to ask Kimberly to marry me, to show her the ring I had gotten, then I knew she was going to say yes, but I was just so nervous, man. So I forgot to do it.
This feels like a time to tell you all how I outdid all of you with the romanticism of my proposal.
Well, I don't have a fight in this yet.
Not yet.
No, but he's taking notes. Hang on, Alex. Let me set you up. Romantic proposal, you say?
Yeah, strap in and we'll take notes.
Oh, I've heard the story.
Because Christine and I have been married for 11 and a half years now.
Damn.
And we agreed to get married mutually over email. It was a discussion that ended with, well, should we? I guess. Yep, I think so. I was deployed, so I was about 280 miles offshore, floating somewhere in the Caribbean. And she was back in Michigan, and then we did the thing. But it was a mutual agreement over email, followed up by the military special at the Boston City Courthouse, which I will say, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous. That is beautiful.
While you were deployed, that's the most like standard for those who aren't based in the US. There's like a meme of like military guys are deployed, they always just end up asking their girl to marry them, and then they buy a Camaro or something as soon as they get back.
Well, I didn't buy the Camaro. But what we did do was spend only $15 on the actual wedding, because that was the military discount at the courthouse. And then our parents came in. We went out to a crazy dinner in the North End at this Italian place that was incredible.
Which
and
one?
then if you said it, I would probably remember it.
No, there's only 175 on one single street.
But this is like the classically big one, like off of Hanover, right up at the front, like near the base, very close to like Mike's and all that kind of stuff. It's like around the back corner by the Mariner House. It's actually on the street corner by the Mariner House, and it has.
Oh.
I'll look, because the second I hear the name, I'm gonna feel like an idiot.
Was it limoncello?
No, no. I'll look. I'll tell you. It was awesome, and then we spent like, which one?
Mama Maria.
I think it started with an M. That could be.
Yeah, big one.
I have to look at a picture of the restaurant.
Anyway, guys, sorry, I'm going to hijack the rest of this episode and just list off.
Restaurants in Boston.
Welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
Welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. You're going to learn a lot about Italian restaurants in the North End.
Yeah, and
Copley Square.
Well, we saved all the budget for a trip to Jamaica, which was incredible, and we spent like a good chunk of time down there, and it was amazing.
A well-spent budget, I would say. Everybody in the comments is congratulating Ruto. If you have advice, suggestions, questions, good jokes, words of wisdom about marriage, crypto, or anything else, let us know in the comments. And thank you also to all the people who are saying, welcome back, Evan. Robot Stecklerish says, who's the guy in the flannel?
I have to say, it was my first impression of Evan when I woke up this morning and saw him dressed like this. And I chuckled, and he was like, "Oh, because," and I was like, "Yeah, you can't show up looking like that." And he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of like a, would you say
This is kind of like the shabby brawny man look."
Yeah,
I
said the
brawny man
brawny
falls on
man.
hard times.
He's fallen on hard times. And I think
you look cozy, dude. You look so cozy.
It's like if the brawny man was from Brooklyn. And that's it. Yeah.
What did you say, Alex? You said shabby brawn.
Shabby brawn is.
I like Brooklyn brawn, and it's like the twins. It could be Brooklyn brawn and shabby brawn, like soft boy, cozy influencers. Could be the era. Could be the move. So we're open for casting. If you've got a Hallmark Christmas special happening in a coffee shop in Brooklyn, give me a call. And if you've got a crypto question, of course, we are here for you. Well, Ruto is here, so that means we're going to get a little Polygon update. They have had a big week, but I also thought, just to give him some time to prepare, I would share a couple of little photos with you guys from my trip, because I had a big trip, a big crypto trip. I met with a lot of different people. There was a lot of stuff happening. And in fact, I went to Polygon's multi-chain day. I saw our friends from Boys Club there. I did not get a picture of their cool booth. I heard a couple of really good talks. And as always, your merch was a hit. The question I have that will be for Ruto is, who got the Crocs? But let me just walk you through a couple of these fun things first. It's something we always say on the show, that if you want to get into crypto, one of the best ways to do it is to go to a conference, to spend time doing what we do here on the internet in real life. And they're not all created equal. Any conference will do. But Alex, my God, is that you?
That's Will.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay. Be gentle to your keyboard, man. It's okay. It's okay. I got it. Sorry.
Don't come for me.
The thing to do is to go to a crypto conference, but the Ethereum World Fair Dev Connect, this particular conference, I was telling Alex as we were kind of catching up on the phone yesterday, dude, it's just such a high signal event for people who are here to build a movement. The theme of everything, I said this last week, is we're building the infrastructure for a new civilization. So somebody hit me with a little screen assist. These are some of my good friends from a Sub-Zero event team. The very first thing I went there to do was to help host this pre-conference conference. They had it at Bubble Studio. I highly recommend checking out the venue in Buenos Aires. If you're in podcast land, look at the pictures. This is what it's all about. It's a beautiful, magnificent toast over dinner. It's a ball pit where you can film a small documentary. It's taking a picture in the pink room with our friend Stella.
Who dressed for the pink room?
Stella was so perfectly dressed all weekend, Alex. She got the memo that you got, which is basically black, pink, and lovely shades of like lavender. I also, speaking of Unlock, got to meet our friend Stacey. And I got to meet Julian, the founder of Unlock Protocol. I got a picture of him in that killer Unlock hat. I will share it in the community. What I want you to see, though, is it's like Buenos Aires' hottest club is Dev Connect. They've got everything. A hologram of Dr. Gavin Wood. They've got flowers and subways that actually come out into the open. And they've got a ball pit. And they've even got founders wearing many hats. This is a picture of David Phelps, one of my favorite friends from Twitter. They've got bugs you can eat. And they've got Peanut. I'm going to have to make a video about Peanut soon. Peanut does not sponsor the show, but they could. I was in a feud with these guys all week. They made payment in Buenos Aires easy. Okay. But they had these hats that they were selling for like $200. They had a limited run of. So of course, because I'm a crypto person, I want to collect stuff.
It's a great hat.
And they told me I could have it if I like got enough points to get to tier 2 in their app, which is like 10,000 points. You know, you get an arbitrary number of points for every transaction you do. So I was trolling them all week throughout the conference. And this is my case in point for crypto people. Instead of going out to buy a junk token, go to a crypto conference, meet the people from Morpho and Polygon and Aave and Base and Ledger and so forth in real life, and then just participate in what they do. Use their stuff to make your life better. All I did was use Peanut to pay for things and post about it on Twitter, and a bunch of people shared my invite code. I ended up winning like $100 for inviting, I don't know, like so many people during the conference as part of this like quest they were doing. And I also got to participate in telling a great story. If they do an airdrop or something like that, I'm an early beta user. I didn't have to spend any money I wouldn't have ordinarily spent, is my point to you. And I was able to also do it in the course of doing my other work. Of course, I caught up with friends. This is friend of the show, Angie. Ruto, do you know Angie? She's over at Turtle Club. She's the director of partnerships there. Yeah. And she's one of the best people in the crypto space. She knows everybody.
Literally everyone.
Literally everyone.
You can't be head of partnership somewhere and not have tons of connects. So it
no. And so the only thing missing, we often say, is you. But we got to connect with a lot of our friends. Alex, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I hope this has persuaded you listening, yes, you, to think about, if you're curious, skeptical, you want, especially if you want to work in crypto or learn it, and you don't have to go to Buenos Aires, but if you live in Argentina, it could be the move. Or if you live in Texas, it could be the move to go to a blockchain conference there. This was like a high signal event where everybody was, but I just could not be more bullish on going to hang out with people in person. The list is long. I've shared just a fraction of it. It's such a good experience. Would you guys add anything to that pitch? Was that you, Ruto? You said you agree. Yeah. Is there anything better you could do?
I would say when I was first starting out, for a lot of people tuning in, if it was something you were ever interested in, of like either pivoting careers or working in crypto or even just networking in general, earlier on when I quit entirely my previous career and I wanted to get into Web3, the number one thing I did was go to events, and that opened up a million doors for me, genuinely. So I was going to events in 2020. In 2021, I went to a ton of events and I networked my ass off, and I met tons of people from different protocols, projects, startups, like founders, artists. Yeah, exactly. So I did all these things. Granted, I'm a pretty charismatic, outgoing guy, so it was pretty easy for me. I could, there's jokes with my family that say like I can go into an elevator and then come out with a new friend. So if not to say everyone's like that, but if you are a little bit, extroverted, going to an event, even if you don't know anybody, by the end of it, I promise you'll have memories that could last a lifetime. So.
And what would you say? We got a lot of questions rolling in that say, which conference should I go to? Is there a list of these somewhere? Usually the best place to find out about a conference or just get plugged into the conferences is going to be Twitter. I don't know of like one particular master list of the moment conference, but you'll notice a lot of the same major conferences all the time. And that's another good reason to like jump into the community, is because you can tell us, like Jason, where you live. And then we can help you connect with some of the resources that you might see.
Yeah.
He said he lived in the UK. Any conferences in the UK or London, or any just off the top of your head resources that you'd suggest for someone who wants to find one?
I always say that there's pretty much a major conference in every region. So like if you're in Asia, there's tons of conferences. If you're in Europe, there's a lot of good conferences, and most of them are like the same conference. They just do a different region, right? So there's obviously a lot in the US. I would say most of them are probably like the big ones are hosted either in New York. There's a big one in Florida that's coming up too. Art Basel. Technically, Art Basel is like it's an art kind of pop cultural event, but there's tons of Web3 conferences that happen there. In my opinion, I think Art Basel too might be one of like the easiest transition ones if you're into crypto, because a lot of like the big ones are like, there's a lot of infrastructure companies there. There's a lot of like token or DeFi companies there. Whereas like Art Basel is kind of like, it's an easy segue, right? Like there's artists, there are going to be startups there. There's still going to be like really big, good companies at Art Basel too. So if you're like in the South area, Art Basel could be a good option. It is a little pricey because it's Miami, so make sure you book in advance. But again, depending on what region you are, I promise you there's a major conference that goes on somewhere near you. So just, you can always Google it too. Like it'll pop up.
Yeah, jump in the community at community.rumshq.com and we'll help you find one. Sorry, Will.
I would also just add on the topic of Art Basel is it's a much more like relaxed environment, because it's not like an official conference setup. Like you go into these artsy fartsy events and parties and stuff in Miami, and people are just there to kind of party. So it's like a much more chill social environment.
Yeah.
If you want that to be your first experience and you're in and around Miami, you're in the States or whatever, or somewhere nearby, it's pretty casual. I will say though, at the crypto conferences, also tons of casual events around the conferences. Tons. I really liked ETH Denver a lot, because there was the conference, but it was like the conference was the really not useful part, and it was the million events around the conference. It was like all the fun happened around the conference, and the conference was just an excuse for people to come and then like plan side events around it. Those were super cool and awesome, and just like casual parties, and everyone wanted to talk to people. So when you go to the conferences, absolutely go to the conference itself, but it's really the satellite events around it that you'll want to go to, and I think you'll get the most value out of those.
Dude, to be honest, that's like every industry. Even in my previous industry, I worked in traditional digital marketing, right? So I worked in like performance marketing, and we had tons and tons of conferences too that I'd go to. From what I hear from pretty much every massive industry, all of the good networking, all the like real stuff or fun stuff happens outside of the conference itself. So it's always like the side events.
Funny, at the conferences I've always gone to for my non-crypto related stuff, I'm there, I chat with people, I go back to my hotel, I fall asleep, and then I take a client out to dinner and I say, hey, cool, great, see you tomorrow. And then I go back home and I fall asleep, unless it's in Vegas, because I have friends in Vegas. And then I'm up until 4:00 in the morning, and then the conference starts at 7:30. That's a different story.
That's how you do it.
I did have 3 all-nighters on this week, I will say.
Oh, that's too much.
Just 2 weeks. And every single time I was looking at like the rising sun in the lightning sky and going, no way. Really? I felt like somebody had punked me. One time was after the Ave throws a big party there. I got food afterwards and walked someone home whose phone had died. And on the way back, the sky was lightening. The birds were chirping. Another time was the first night I connected with Angie, and I just hadn't seen her in so long. And so we just got to talking. And we went to Victor Audio Bar, and I can't remember what else happened. And then I said to myself, I'm not going to let this happen again. I just can't do it.
Spoiler alert.
It happened. Spoiler alert.
There was a couple of questions about conferences in particular cities like Chicago and stuff like that. If literally, I'm not saying this to be a dick, if you Google crypto conference insert region, you'll be blown away by how many there are. Like I just looked up
There's a lot.
Chicago. There's dozens. And a lot of these are not like the major headline flagship ones like Consensus, Permissionless, ETH Denver, stuff like that. There's these giant Token 2049. There's these giant ones that happen all over the place every single year. But then like pretty much every major university has at least something. Are you okay?
I'm gonna be
Dog
okay.
is apparently.
The dog is unhappy about conferences. So every major university has at least something. And
Yeah, I was gonna say my first one I went to was I just Googled crypto meetups or events in Orlando, like in my city. And I just went to one that was hosted by like small community members. There's probably like 100 people there, 50 people there. And I like stood up and I did a presentation on NFTs. Mind you, this was end of 2020. So like you know, and then I got up my foot in the door. That was actually how I got kind of like my foot in the door at a Web3 company. There was a founder at that event, heard me speak, and I was like, hey man, like, you know, do you want to work with us? And I was like, sure. And that's basically how I got my foot in the door. So even if they're small ones, still a great way to connect. You're always going to find people. Like the best way to network is you just want to find people who are like-minded, who like the same things you do. So it doesn't have to be a major conference. If you just Googled stuff in your local region, you'll likely, because of how big crypto is now, like you'll likely find something.
Shout out to Bengal Cat in the comments who bought Bitcoin for the first time on Coinbase 3 days ago, and they gave him like 10% extra. That is amazing. But caution to you, my friend, because the comment comes, I just want to make a lot of money as quickly as possible.
hey, there it is.
Ruto is holding up the Coinbase card. I love that thing. Don't you love that thing? 4%, up to 4% cash back in Bitcoin on purchases.
I think it goes up to 6%, depending. Obviously, if you have like $200,000 on your Coinbase
No,
account, then
I think it's
4% capped.
4% cap.
yeah. I think it's a 4% cap. We know a couple of people who are getting the 4%, and that is just chef's kiss. And
Yeah, for
that's
as long as it lasts.
yeah, get it as long as it lasts. That's the note to you, friend. Bengal Cat, welcome to the crypto space. Glad you're here. A lot of people come here because they want to make money, but you know, raise your hand if crypto is a get rich quick scheme. Nobody's going to put their hands up. It's buy Bitcoin by using a Coinbase card on your everyday purchases thing. Turn your inflating money into assets over time. Any other words of wisdom you guys would give to Bengal Cat who wants to make a lot of money quickly?
Dude, airdrop farm. It's the number one thing I always tell people. I just got an airdrop for about $5,000 from Monad. Just went live on mainnet. So I give the same advice to every single person who's new. If you're not just sticking to majors and you're like, hey, what's the lowest risk with the highest upside? The only thing you're trading is time. So if you have time and low capital, it's not even close. The best way to make a ton of money is to airdrop farm.
So Ruto has said that more than once on our show. And let me just read people into Monad to give you an example of this real quick. And then I'm going to kick it back to you, Ruto, because we want to hear more. Monad, we talked about it a few weeks ago when Coinbase announced that they would be listing it in a sale to you, the public. One of the easiest ways, in addition to airdrops, to like get rich quick in crypto, low risk, high reward, is to participate in IPOs or early sales of tokens. Often tokens are sold to certain groups at a lower price than they are sold to the public when they become available for anyone anywhere to buy. And used to be, in order to participate in something like an initial public offering for a company, you had to be an accredited investor, you had to have a certain amount of money, you had to have terms and agreements. But essentially Coinbase offered part of Monad's token supply through a partnership with them to anybody on their platform who wanted to buy these tokens. You could buy $100 of them. And it turned out that when Monad's mainnet launched just the other day, this is Monday, it dropped really quickly, but boop, it went up like 40%. So there were a variety of ways you could have played it, but
you could have gotten you could have. It was the first time they did an ICO offering, so it's initial coin offering for those who aren't aware. You could have bought Monad at ICO prices for 0.025 cents. Current price 0.057 cents. So you could have made an easy 50% if all you had to do was just buy $100, you know, of Monad during the ICO event on Coinbase. So obviously, like, you don't want to just blindly buy into these things. Do a little bit of research.
Most pre-sales are junk. The ones that are advertised to you is like you're early, junk.
Yeah, but Monad they've been building their blockchain for years now, like three plus years. They've been building it. It was on testnet for like a year and a half, and so it was a pretty hyped up chain. So, you know, that could have given you some signal that, hey, there's a ton of potential buyers here. There's a ton of like hype around this. If you could have gone in a little bit earlier, you would have been fine. Yep,
And I
he's
don't know
up 40% on Monad. Good
I
job,
don't know
dude.
about you guys, but my play would be like, forget capital gains. I would probably be looking to get rid of that token because I don't know enough about the Ruto. Everything he said is right. Like, most businesses in our space fail. Where else can you make 40% in the span of a week? I almost certainly would be like, yeah, I'll pay the taxes on that. And then
48 hours, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
48 hours, 48 hours, 40% return. Like, you told that to like some TradFi bro, they'd be like, what are you saying?
My gosh.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did any of you guys get in on Monad? I had an alert set, but was in Buenos Aires, and I actually saw that the sale was like unfilled. Like, they didn't sell out in, I don't know, 24, 48 hours. And I was just busy. I was working. So I was like, oh, it's okay. I can skip it.
Yeah, it happens. I got an airdrop. I had one of those Monad cards.
Yeah.
Shout out to anyone who voted for me on that. I don't know how I got one, but I got 88,888 tokens airdrop to me. So I still have about half.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm just kind of like riding it. But yeah, it was solid. I can't get mad at free money, man. Can't get mad at free.
Highlight that.
Yeah, never could.
You still have half. If you have it, if you got airdropped it, or if you bought it and you're up, please consider paying yourself something for the success, because this is a sketchy time in thar markets, and it could go up more. It could also plateau. It could also crater. So if you're big up at a time now when a lot of other stuff is big down, first of all, actually, Evan, to your point, don't worry about capital gains at all. What are the odds that you got a loss? You could wash trade real quick and write off a capital loss to counteract
Exactly
them gains, because it's tax loss harvesting season, baby. So
all this to say, like, Bengal, you're new. Don't move too quickly. Most people lose money by moving too quickly, buying a lot of tokens, getting in over their head because they get excited or think they can make a lot of money really quickly. This is a space full of opportunity, but the most important thing for you to do is to spend time around other crypto users and ask questions. Don't get too trigger happy because you think you found the next great thing. Like, we work here, and none of us is running out and selling our house to buy the next great thing. And if it was really the next great thing, don't you think we would? So you're in the right place. Just chill, hang out. And Ruto, I hope that I have given you enough stall time, because speaking of like actual stuff happening on real blockchains that people are talking about, Polygon's name is in everybody's mouths when they're talking about serious apps, serious use, serious infrastructure, interoperability, cross-chain stuff, all like the good buzzwords. But I feel like you could maybe give us a more concise, quick summary of some of the big hitting news, the updates. What's been going on in the last, I don't know, couple of months for you guys as you finish out the year?
Yeah, so I think even just last week alone, we had some of our biggest announcements, this year probably. So Polygon is now an official partner of Revolut. So it's actually been live for quite some time. It just was kind of like soft launched. Wasn't publicly announced probably a couple months ago. I think probably at the beginning of January this year, soft launched. And even without publicly announcing, Polygon or Revolut did almost $700 million in volume before it was even publicly announced. So as of right now, Revolut has processed $775 million on Polygon to date. And if the charts kind of show, it's not really slowing down. So we're talking payments, right? We're talking people using Revolut. If you guys who don't know, Revolut is essentially like the Robinhood of the EU. Like it's a pretty big app. So we were one of the official partners of them. Like here's some news here. Revolut just hits a $75 billion valuation, backed by a bunch of different companies like Nvidia, Fidelity, and they're expanding their crypto push with Polygon Labs as a partner. So on top of that, the same week we also announced an official partnership with Mastercard, where if you guys who are in crypto, if you're sending payments to someone via wallet address, their wallet address is super convoluted. Like it's insane, right? It's like 16 numbers, letters, and it's nonsense. But our partnership with Mastercard has allowed users to now use a username to send funds or crypto to individuals. So rather than having a crazy long wallet address, now you can have, let's say, you have Chris who just joined. I can send payments to you, Chris, via your username of crypto. So I can put like chris.mc Mastercard and it'll send you crypto. So Polygon is the official partner for Mastercard for users to send payments via username now instead of just wallet addresses. So yeah, some
Ruto,
pretty big yeah, go ahead.
I want to bring up a tweet from Sandeep that I saw yesterday, because I think now might be a good opportunity. We can put this in front of some people and get some thoughts, because I think there are a lot of opinions about this one. So I'm going to share here real quick for those of you on TikTok. The tweet is from Sandeep, who is he's Mr. Polygon. Yeah. And what he's questioning here is the kind of the hesitance and the resistance around, fully embracing the new ticker POL, Paul. And he floats this idea of reverting the name back to Matic.
I saw that.
Now, I read quite a few of the comments, and pretty overwhelmingly, the answer is no. But there's a few people who kind of say yes. I think the big break here, and actually I highlight this for two reasons. One, because I'm genuinely curious. Like, as you look at this, as anyone, wherever you are in the world, whatever level in crypto you are, if you're brand new, if you've been here for years, whatever, what are your initial thoughts on this? What's your gut reflex? And then two, the thing that this tweet in particular, the comment section highlighted for me, was that there is still such a massive divide between us on crypto Twitter, the people who work in the industry, and quite literally everybody else. Because every single comment that says, yes, switch it back, or yeah, I could understand why you would say that, is because the average consumer who maybe uses this or first found it through Matic just thinks it disappeared. We weren't tapped in enough to fully follow the whole migration or whatever. Just think shit, it went out of business, or okay, I lost that or whatever. And there's a bunch of examples of someone who was using it for some kind of little small business application in a country halfway around the world, and now feels like, okay, well, that's gone. And so the divide was really crypto Twitter wanting it to stay Paul because it's tiring to switch it to something else or to go back. And then everyone who said yes because of how many people got lost along the transition. And I do not think that Polygon is unique in this respect at all. But I think that this tweet did an accidentally brilliant job of highlighting that divide and putting it on display in the comment section. And it just made me, I don't know, way more convicted in continuing to do all of this, because holy shit, we have so many people to reach all around the world that should be hearing this stuff, that are probably there and get left behind accidentally just because of the pace at which crypto Twitter moves. But I'm curious what everyone thinks.
Also, we have someone in the comment section, I forget who it was, they go, yeah, I still have Matic.
Some people definitely do. I feel like, Ruto, I'd be curious most to hear your thoughts, especially because I know you spent a long time building all those great resources about what is the Paul token? How is it powering our ecosystem? You know what I mean? And now you're like, oh, great. Now I got to do this website all over again, It seems like something that only people on crypto Twitter care about, would be my takeaway.
Yeah, I think he even mentioned it in the post. He was like, And I think I'm of the same opinion. A lot of people, especially companies, protocols, chains, startups, they kind of cater specifically to one target audience, which is like crypto Twitter. When in reality, a vast majority of liquidity and capital and users are outside of crypto Twitter. So I think it would be, detrimental to make really massive business decisions solely off of what people are saying on crypto Twitter. Plus, it can be like a really toxic kind of like, wild place on crypto Twitter too. And like, there's a lot of dumb people. There's obviously a lot of smart people too. But yeah, it's just, yeah, you don't want to do that. I saw one of the comments too. Some guys like, I don't know if I want to listen to that inbred kid on the bottom right.
Blocked him.
Nah,
No
it's cool, dude.
tolerance.
I don't
Wild,
mind.
dude.
I don't mind stuff like that at all, dude. So, but yeah, that's my take on it.
I mean, credit to Sandeep too, because he highlighted that exact divide that I was just talking about. It was on the screen, but I realized if you're in podcast land, you didn't see it, or you're on TikTok and you didn't see it. He specifically said the counter argument that I hear against keeping it Paul is that we lost the taxi driver in the Philippines who was using Matic for something. So he's hyper aware of exactly what the divide is. And so, yeah, Ruto, I was curious if there have been any internal discussions about this, or if this was kind of like an impulse post because he's picking up on something, or if this is like a bigger discussion, or like on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious is this?
Well, Sandeep has always been a super vocal founder. And in my opinion, I think that's why he's one of the best founders, because he is so vocal. He takes community feedback all the time. And he's very, very strong with his opinions. So I think, I don't want to say that we've talked about it a lot internally, to be honest, because I don't think we have. I think ultimately we've been pushing the fact that we're about like 99.8% done fully transitioning from Matic to Pol. So like a vast majority of people who did have Matic have already transitioned their tokens to Pol anyway. So I think he's kind of just like, throwing it out there he's just like talking out loud, basically, right? He's thinking out loud. So I think it's cool. Personally, I don't really have like an opinion of it. I think people did recognize Matic, obviously, because 2021 was an insane year. That's when most retail people got into crypto. And so when they think of Polygon, they think of Matic.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make sense. But I know, like, to go back to Matic after spending months transitioning from Matic to Pol, I don't know. It'd be more of an uphill battle, but at the end of the day, whatever.
It just seems like a waste of money to then lose all the people who then got in on Pol to then go to Matic. Like you just going back and forth and making the same mistake. You're over here on this side of the fence now. Now this is just where you're at.
Well, and I think that we're doing the right thing, right? Like if the problem is that we've lost awareness and we've like lost people during the transition, then the obvious answer is go find those people again and make sure that we reconnect with them. So yeah, I would personally vote no.
Dude, 99% of crypto is discovery, So like the moat for value is just finding out about something. It's basically marketing, right? Distribution. So like, for example, everyone in the chat that's talking about either other blockchains or other tokens, like the only way those companies have been able to get users or holders is because of discovery. People have heard about your company or token and they either hold it or they at least bare minimum know about it. So that's the moat there. Is like the issue, and the solution is discovery for crypto.
I want to just grab a quick pivot here because we saw the comment and I feel more strongly than ever about making this PSA every single time. Someone was asking about the difference between Web3 and a cold wallet. And so even if this isn't what we're talking about, I'm going to give the short and sweet PSA. Web3 is a marketing term that collectively describes everything in this entire industry. It is not a specific thing. So if anybody ever leaves you a comment, sends you an email, sends you a DM, reaches out to you in any way, shape, or form, and tells you that in order to secure your assets, you need to connect them to Web3, secure them with Web3, store them on Web3, that's a scam. I just got a DM last night from someone who was reaching out trying to get information on behalf of a friend of theirs who is in the tail end of losing over $1 million to a pig butchering scheme that they've been stuck in for months.
Oof.
And they're now at the point when they've already been taken for the unlock fee and the bank transfer fee, and they need to set up another account because it's too much to transfer to one account. And now I need a card fee, and now I need this fee and that fee. And they're just sinking more and more and more in because they're in so far over their head. And a lot of this starts with a DM or a comment or something exactly like that. So cold storage is a totally legitimate method of protecting your assets in a particular kind of wallet that keeps your private information stored off of the internet. Think of an encrypted hard drive that doesn't connect to the internet. It's as safe as it gets. But the term Web3 as it relates to connecting, storing, whatever, is 99.9999% of the time a scam and just not worth interacting with. So please, please, please be careful. If you're concerned that the person who reached out to you might be trying to scam you, they sent me the website that this person was lured to, and it sucks so bad because like I looked at that website and immediately, not a question in my mind, I was like, this is awful. Like this is a scam 100%. You know, as soon as I opened it, it was like, here you go, connect your wallet. It didn't even prompt me like with a connect button in the top. It just popped up. My wallet popped up and it was like, do you want to connect to this thing? Instantly.
Yeah. I have two things to add to that. Sorry for cutting you off. It's
no, please.
If the more money you have in this industry, the more, especially when I was first starting out, I learned, even if my mom, my brother, my sister, like it doesn't matter. If someone sends me a link, I just do not click it, dude. Just literally don't. If you just learn to just quite frankly never click links, that'll already save yourself. Knock on wood, I've been in the crypto space since like 2016, 2017. I have yet to get scammed or anything because I simply do not click links. If someone's sending you something, maybe it's like a mutual friend. If it's a stranger, clearly never click it. But if it's like a mutual friend, even then I'll be like, hey, do you mind screenshotting where that links to? And then sometimes people will be like, you're weird, why would I do that? And I'm like, dude, because I don't trust you, dude. And so you can do that. Second thing, I have a hot take. I actually think most people, especially like just kind of like your casual person, shouldn't have a cold wallet.
Tell me why.
Really? Okay, please.
Interesting.
Yes.
That is a hot take.
Very hot take. I think it's because cold wallets or cold wallet storage can be a little bit convoluted for a lot of people. Like most people would be better off just having it on, an exchange that you trust. Personally, I keep a pretty good amount of funds on a DEX, on a decentralized exchange, just because I have absolute custody over those funds. But for those who are worried about central exchanges and like stuff that happens there, that's obviously, something that's I think that's fair to be worried about that. Obviously, for someone who has like 6 figures plus, or even like just an obscene amount of Bitcoin, then I think cold storage wallet is great for that. But if you're like actively trading or you're not planning on holding very, very long for certain tokens, then just keeping on an exchange or a decentralized exchange is going to be okay for you. Obviously, I have Bitcoin on a cold storage wallet, but I'm obviously, pretty experienced using it and having it. So if you have a good amount of Bitcoin, then of course, cold storage. But for other stuff that you're in for a month or 2, 3 months, or even during a bull market, you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy these tokens low, I'm gonna sell during a bull market. I think it's totally okay to have those things on an exchange. I think it's totally fine. In my opinion, I think it's actually better for most people.
Yeah, I'd agree. If you're not looking to hold for long term, you're like, hey, I want to buy this cycle, I want to sell this cycle, I want to buy now, I want to sell in a few months, whatever. Yeah, you don't need to go through the extra step of going from the exchange to the hardware wallet and back. But yeah, I would say just about anyone who's looking to hold long term, like, yeah, your portfolio isn't $1 million of Bitcoin or even $100,000 of Bitcoin, but like right now, long term though, I do think even if you're new, if you're holding something for long term, even if it's just a little bit of Bitcoin at a time or whatever, I think hardware wallet is a good option. Unless, of course, you also are someone where you're like, I don't trust myself with the responsibility factor of maintaining and holding my own money, then go and buy the ETF. the ETF product is perfect for you, I think, and even safer than like putting it on Coinbase or a Binance or a Mexi.
See, yeah. First of all, yikes.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Shots
thanks.
fired.
I couldn't find my sound fast enough, but you get the gist.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I keep mine on Hyperliquid. So a lot of
Okay.
a huge chunk of my portfolio is on a decentralized exchange called Hyperliquid. So
Dang. Okay. You got the Pit
I-
Viper glasses too?
yeah,
I
Go
would I would agree to say that cold storage should not be something that you just sort of like get on a whim and send a bunch of stuff there and then just like hope that you figure it out later. But I would push back to say that I think it's a skill everyone should familiarize themselves with.
For
Like
sure.
in the list
Agreed.
of skills that are important to collect and to grow for yourself, I think cold storage is up there. I think everyone should at least know and then make a conscious, informed decision. Because I agree with you. I keep a significant amount in a hot wallet because I'm constantly doing things with it. I use it every single day, especially testing new stuff that we're going to talk about on the show, or connecting here, connecting there, sending this here, whatever. We get paid in USDC, so I maintain a lot of wallets that way for that. But cold storage is like a super important piece of like my whole, personal crypto ecosystem. And I think that we can clear it up. Like, it seems scary. It's not as scary as it sounds, but I agree. Like, the responsibility is hefty, because if you are the sole self-custodian of your stuff, then you are also solely responsible for the protection of that information. And that can go sideways if you're not prepped.
I just know some people are like, oh well, I don't trust some of these exchanges. I'm like, brother, like, how sometimes trusting yourself is a liability too, dude.
Mhm.
like,
That's super
you know what I
valid.
mean? You know what I mean?
No,
Like, some
100%.
people, you move, you lose something. Like, I knew a kid who had 50K on a cold storage wallet, and like his dog chewed up his ledger, bro. Like stuff like that
And
happens.
he like hadn't backed it up.
No. So yeah.
Yikes.
And if you're in stables, I usually just like yield farm, right? So like I'll have stables on, but that's a whole complex topic. I won't get too deep into that.
Actually, I'm going to ask you to go into it a little bit, because there was a comment specifically asking if you could talk a little bit about any yield farms that you're currently using, or any that you've used in the past, or any pro tips, words of wisdom in the yield farming category. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing for airdrops, because those are the two big questions we had for you.
Sure, no problem. Yeah. So if you are someone who maybe has taken some profit this bull cycle, or maybe you're stabled up, you have some stable coins right now, at least what I'm doing right now is I always try to find where are some like pre-TGE protocols that have stablecoin yield. And so like obviously one of them is Katana. So shameless plug of the Polygon ecosystem. Katana is like a DeFi protocol chain, and you can, if you have stables, you can put your stables on there, earn some yield, while also farming for the token airdrop that will be coming. So that's like back to what I was saying about airdrop farming is like the highest upside you can do with like minimal risk. That's one of them. And then another one that I'm doing right now is USD AI. And that's like a whole other protocol as well. So it's just basically I put some stable coins on there, I earn some yield, and I earn some points. I did this recently also with a project called Project X, where that's like a liquid staking pool, so it's a little bit different, but I'm earning some yield with stable coins and other token pairs there as well. So if you're someone who's sitting on a bunch of just like USDC, USDT, any sort of stable coin, a good thing to do is, instead of just letting it sit there, because it doesn't make sense, right? Like if you're here to make money, the same thing with like any capital, you always want your capital working for you. So if it's not in base minimum, like in a central exchange like Coinbase, where you're earning 3 to 4% yield, that's probably like the lowest hanging fruit, just because it's so easy to tap into. But if you want to take it a little step further, then I would definitely try to recognize some new protocols that are offering points and high yield for stablecoins, because you're providing liquidity to their platform, right? And that's why they give you rewards for that. So again, if you have low liquidity but you have time, using stablecoins to farm points on new upcoming protocols that are pre-token generation events, tons of upside there.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more of Ruto's thoughts on this, then I would direct you, if you're in like podcast land, just to put a pin in this. Ruto was on episode 34 of Rise Up After Dark, and also most recently on episode 402, just a couple weeks back, of the Rise Up Morning Show. You talked more about USD AI, you talked more about Project X at that time, and you really did a good job. I was so... If you want to have a good episode of your podcast, just make sure I'm not there. That Rise Up After Dark episode where you talked, I think for the first time on our show, about trading your time for potentially valuable tokens with airdrop farming, that was a really good, thorough, but concise primer overview. It's well worth a listen. It's episode 34 in the Rise Up After Dark playlist on YouTube.
Yeah, I see someone put, I think his name is Craig. He put in the chat, he said back in 2021, we were doing delta neutral positions and getting like 25% on stables. So my boy, is it Craig or how do I say
that's Angel, actually.
Oh, just
Shout
kidding.
out.
Is that Ora La Way? I love that, bro.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. A good friend of ours.
Yeah, Ora La Way. Yeah, you're base, dude. So when he's saying delta neutral is basically meaning he's taking upside and downside positions so that they become neutral. So, and you can earn tons. I did that with some liquid staking pools, right? You take delta neutral positions, you capture upside when the tokens go up or down, and so you earn more points that way. So, a lot of other people are doing right now are farming like stuff like Polymarket. Another shameless shill. Polymarket is part of the Polygon ecosystem. By far, in my opinion, I think it's the biggest, not just DApp, decentralized app, but I think it's the biggest app in the world. I think it will be one of the biggest companies in the world in the next 5 to 10 years on top of it. But a lot of people are farming Polymarket right now too. And you can take delta neutral positions on Polymarket also, right? You can buy 100 shares of an outcome that's for yes, and then 100 shares of an outcome for no. And you're farming volume, you're putting volume on Polymarket, and then that is what's going to open up the door for you to get a potential token airdrop when Polymarket does a token TGE. So they've already announced from the CMO himself that they are doing a token. And if you're farming Polymarket, not only are you using the Polygon network, but you are also farming Polymarket, which I think will be, again, they've raised close to $3 billion. They're a pretty big app.
And I will tell you, if you want to get started with that, we also have helpful tutorials on this too. I would head over to staking.polygon.technology and check out all of the different community airdrops that they have either confirmed or that they say are coming. I don't see Polymarket on here yet, but I'm sure it will be added. Another one I would draw to people's attentions are Billions and Maiden. Billions has a super easy to use like proof of humanity that you can register for, and you can start to participate in their network, do a couple of things that'll make you maybe potentially eligible for this airdrop, in addition to staking your Pol tokens. And the Maiden team, shout out to Azim and company. I got to sit down and hang out with them. That picture I showed of David Phelps, he and I had a meeting, and then he had a meeting with the Maiden team, and Azim and I had been planning to meet anyway. And I said, oh, do you mind if I just sit in on your meeting? And they said, yeah, sure, no problem. And they are a cracked team. Basically, Maiden is incubated by Polygon, launching its own network to help bring privacy to different types of transactions. It's a really cool thing. They're sharp. I can't wait to have them on the show. But staking.polygon.technology, that's like, if you want to make it easy. And Ruto, would you give like any other like ABC 1, 2, 3s to kind of, I don't know, simplify, maximize, optimize?
Yeah, I mean, I think for those ones, it's literally as easy. If you want to like double dip, this is a good one too. If you want to double dip on like the Katana airdrop, then obviously staking stables on the Katana network, not only do you earn yield, but you are also farming points for the airdrop. So if you're staking Pol on top of, gaining yield and points on Katana, it's like you're double farming that. So that's obviously good. We also like some alpha. We have an NFT coming for Katana. So
what?
I know a lot of people, maybe you're not into NFTs, maybe, it's something that's come and gone. I'm still a massive fan of NFTs. It's probably one of my favorite crypto assets. just because it's near and dear to my heart. But yeah, there's an NFT drop coming for users of Katana. I can't say too much more, but there will be utility for the NFTs. Yeah, so I worked on the art. I was kind of like, I guess you could say, creative like director for the art on Katana.
You're just dropping like some casual alpha on the show.
I am a big fan.
Have you announced this anywhere else?
Yeah, so on the official Katana page on Twitter, we just launched the trailer. So it's like an anime trailer that I also worked on. That is live now, and it kind of gives you like a little sneak peek of like, you know, the character design, and yeah, so it's sick.
You know
dude.
what?
I'm really proud of that actually.
I genuinely, that's exciting because I agree with you, dude. Like NFTs going the way that they did hurt me so deeply because
keep scrolling up. Yeah, there it is.
I think they're like the coolest application of a token ever. I don't know. I'm obsessed with the idea and what you can do with them. I think they're so dead. I think they've been gone for so long that the expectations of an NFT are so low right now that honestly, it's kind of like the perfect time to do something cool.
Well, there's been some bangers, dude. Like Hyperliquid airdropped their hyper NFTs to users at the Pico top. It was worth $80,000.
The caps.
Yeah. And so we have a bunch of other NFTs like in the crypto space that have been launching and doing really, really well. So you have like Mega ETH for those who are tuning in.
Oh yeah.
They just did an ICO as well. They're going to be launching soon, but they sold 10,000 NFTs for 1 ETH each. And there was people who were paying OTC like over the counter, like 2x, 3x that for them. So like NFTs still have room for tons of success. Ultimately, it just depends on like what kind you're.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had to run it. We had to wash out all of the, you know, garbage nonsense. The same thing happened with so many things. I mean, the ICO boom. We had, you know, the initial meme coin rush. You had, you know, the NFT rush in 2021. Like all sorts of stuff, and you gotta wash out all that garbage, and then the good part remains. Like the reason that the trend existed is because the thing was cool to begin with, and then of course, you know, people capitalize that on, use it to grift and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, the idea of being able to prove that something digital is unique and scarce is awesome. It's like one of the coolest things that we've built.
It's the coolest thing.
It's so cool.
Well, RWAs can be kind of really similar, right? Like if you look at Courtyard, which is again another shameless shill Polygon ecosystem, they're like the number one consumer app for RWAs. Like you have Pokemon cards that are on chain, they're technically NFTs. You know what I mean? So like if I buy a first edition Charizard, which we did in Miami last year, we spent $200,000 on it, but we got the card and then the NFT digital version of it. So if you ever want to claim the card, you just burn the NFT and they will ship you the actual physical copies. So like NFTs will still always have a use case, maybe not to like the degree of where it was in 2021, where it was just like PFPs and stuff like that went crazy. But NFTs will always be like a massive part of like new tech that I think will stand the test of time 10, 20 years from now.
I'll give you an example. Say that during the whole PFP profile picture NFT craze, crypto Twitter was never better.
It was
the best.
Pretty up.
That was the best that crypto Twitter will ever be, and it will never be better. I'm convinced.
Oh, man,
that was like the most fun crypto culture. You know,
it was the best.
I hated it. GM, say it back. Wag me. I just thought it was so.
No, that was dumb. But like, I was in so many different Discords, like chatting with people and having a good time and stuff. Awesome, it was just fun.
It was cool.
It'll never.
I lost a lot of money, but I had a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, Will, how's that mutant ape?
It's still sitting. It's still sitting in my wallet. Haven't lost a penny on it.
I was looking to maybe buy one, dude. A mutant ape right now. Actually, like the prices are nice.
Dude, I know someone who will sell one to you.
I wouldn't sell it. I'll sell it to you for about 24 Ethereum.
That's brutal, man.
Don't worry, it's coming back.
It's all coming back to me. You know, and I would say you mentioned, you know, it'll never return to utility that way, but I really hope and pray that NFTs will be back. They'll be bigger than ever because it's not just that like Courtyard, your Pokemon card is also tokenized and attached to an NFT. It's that the NFT makes it possible for you to claim a piece of cardboard that they are keeping securely stored in a vault that is better than like a binder in your basement somewhere.
Yeah.
And it gives you the ability to prove you own the thing in the meantime until you redeem for the physical one. So it adds this layer of value.
Not just that, but the whole point of having like TCG cards or Pokemon cards, One Piece cards on chain is it gives you access to the like global liquidity. If I want to buy your Pokemon card right now on Courtyard, I can buy it right now, essentially own it, and you get paid right now. And I don't have to be in front of you. I don't have to go buy it off of eBay, wait a couple weeks for it to come in, like, and then not own it yet. Like I can buy a card from you right now for $10, sell it to another person for 11 or 12, and I could do that in the span of 30 seconds. Whereas
it adds velocity and access to liquidity to anything that you want.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the first time in human history we have been able to verify the uniqueness of a digital artifact. It's a new way to communicate about the uniqueness of a digital thing that has just never been possible before on our planet.
Evan, I do have to say, you said it's better than a binder. I beg to differ because I have to show you my newest binder.
Oh no!
So first of all, this is I'm obsessed with this thing. This is like a leather bound binder, and it has a very specific set of cards in it. So there's a bunch more. These are
That's so sick.
The alternate scroll art of the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering set.
Yeah. Okay.
And so every single one of these is like the unique, scroll alternate art. And so of course I had to put the entire series from the entire set sorted, obviously.
So sick.
I mean,
I would love a token for this, dude. Every single one of these should be a token.
For those of you who have Pokemon cards, though, or cards that aren't Magic the Gathering, and you're storing them for long term, do not put them in a binder because they don't maintain the integrity of the card. However, Magic cards and their valuation do not care. Binders are not a safe way to store a card, but the valuation of Magic cards don't matter at all in terms of what shape or grade or quality they're in. Just it's FYI.
True. My most expensive card looks like some toddler was chewing on it.
Yeah, exactly, because Magic cards retain their value no matter what the condition is. That is not the case for your Pokemon or your One Piece or whatever card you want, right?
Just for the record,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. All of my binder stored cards are double sleeved, including in a sealed penny sleeve that then goes inside of the bigger sleeve that then goes inside.
Yeah, that doesn't matter though.
The card sleeve.
The issue is, and this is getting into card talk, the issue is that every card that's not in the middle slot is slightly being bent just because of how close it is to the binding or how close it is to the end. So that's the issue.
Yeah, that's why I do Magic.
But hey, don't have to worry about that for Magic.
Huh. Okay. Well, thank you, Alex, for showing us your most precious and valuable investment. We have a really good question that came in, and I do want to.
You want to see 7 more binders?
Nope.
I got you.
Nope.
You only have 7? I thought you had like an entire room.
Listen,
well, actually, there's 2 like glass display cases now that are getting like individual cards in slabs on little stands.
Oh yeah, that display looks nice.
Oh yeah.
We might have to have another collectible focus show. Robot Steckler said his dad is into baseball cards, and he showed him Courtyard a couple weeks ago. We might have to have so many nerdy friends.
We got to get Courtyard back and just do the collectibles like nerd hour, because Will and I have never really gotten to do a full show on that. It's always us forcing the collection on everybody and making everyone sit here and look at a piece of it.
It reminds me of those TikTok videos like, my husband wants to show you his whatever, and you're going to be nice and listen to him. Yeah.
And then they're like really angry behind, like,
yeah, just mean mugging. Yeah. Okay. So we got to do that. We got to do that. And before we literally run away from the cards, the collectibles, or the show for the day, because it's almost that time, we have to ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset, but not just yet. If you've got a crypto question, a suggestion, a good joke, a word of wisdom, let us know. And if you don't hear from us then join us in the community where the show lives 24/7. That's a great place to ask your question. community.rumshq.com. While we wait for other questions to come in, we've got this follow-up from Paul about airdrops, who says, I thought airdrops aren't good. Doesn't an airdrop give people your cold wallet info? First of all, Paul, thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate the question. Gentlemen, can you elaborate on this? Alex, should I be concerned that I'm giving my wallet info to somebody or other personal information when I participate in the activities that could lead me to an airdrop? Or what if like I wasn't planning on an airdrop and then a token just shows up in my wallet? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so there's two answers. In the way that you might be thinking, no, there's not a cause for concern that your public wallet address is known by somebody. Any of those are publicly grabbable by on a blockchain explorer at any point by anybody who has the know-how to navigate that tool and find it. Now, the caveat there is actually what, if you want to see the full explanation on this, because it was killer, watch yesterday's episode, number 412, with Dr. Adam Lowe from Arculus, because he talks about address poisoning, which is not something that I was super familiar with or had, front of mind. So that would be the danger. So the short answer is no, airdrops are not inherently dangerous, but they can be. And if you're not aware fully of exactly how the whole process works, it's worth like learning the full scope of it, because your address is known. That's true. All that gives is the power to anybody who wants to, the ability to send something to that address. It would be like someone knowing your email address. It doesn't mean you're going to get scammed, but it means someone could try to. We all know that the second your phone number gets leaked, your email address gets leaked, your home address gets leaked, whatever, you start getting junk mail, spam phone calls, all that kind of stuff. The same thing can happen with a crypto address. You can start getting junk tokens, meme
junk
coins,
NFTs,
all sorts of stuff. So
I have so many of those.
Be careful, but also don't panic if you receive an airdrop, because that by itself does not mean that like you're compromised or anything like that. And we can go deeper, but that's kind of the bumper sticker.
No.
Yeah.
Excellent. Ruto, you have something to add?
No. Yeah, pretty much the exact same thing you said, man. Airdrops are the best. As long as you're farming the right projects, airdrops are awesome. Like I've gotten airdrops that were worth like $10, which granted it cost me nothing to make, so $10 is $10. But yeah, like I would say a huge chunk of the money I've made in crypto has come from airdrops. Like my largest one to date was from Blur. For those of you who know, if you know, you know. And I got like a $35,000 to $36,000 airdrop from that for like 3 months of work. For like 3 months of work, dude. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Do you have any like your bumper sticker list of pro tips for someone who wants to get into airdrop farming, or just like where to, if you were like brand new and knowing what you know now, you were starting over on your quest to find an airdrop, what would you do?
Man, that's tough because it's hard to look at it from a perspective of like not knowing now that I know.
That's why I asked, because it is really hard.
I know. I think the easiest way is let me just, I can do it live, right? Let me pretend I'm a new user. I'm gonna go on Twitter. I'm gonna put airdrop farming. I'm just gonna type in airdrop farming. Okay. This is solid. Like I type in airdrop farming and the search bar on Twitter, and you filter by top. So these are the ones who have likely the most engagement. There's gonna be some garbage ones on here, but you definitely want to find, if you see a post and it's got like some really good engagement on it, that usually means a lot of people agree with it or found it helpful. So let me put top airdrop farms. So I just typed in top airdrop farms. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So there's one already from November 18th. A guy named Kook. Depends on how you feel about him, right? But he's talking about a DEX called TradFi. Here's another one. As all I did was type in top airdrop farm. A guy called Cryptophile. He listed out his top 19 projects he's looking to airdrop farm, and some of these are pretty solid. Like I see USDAI on here, I see Solstice on here, I see Felix on here, Polymarket, Hyperliquid, Trade XYZ. Yeah, so like that would probably be my first way of doing it, just because if you were to go on like TikTok or like Instagram and you were to type in airdrop farming, you're gonna find a lot of pretty bad information. To this day, Twitter still remains the best place to find early alpha for stuff. It's not even close. So that would be my advice.
Evan,
Or you can just ask me, like on a podcast, and I could
Or
just
you
tell
can
you
ask
the ones that I'm farming right now.
That's the real alpha. What were you going to say, Alex?
I was going to say, do you have any? I know you have a couple resources that you've tossed out for looking.
Honestly, I think that one's better. I would say the
agree,
best thing
but-
to do is to start. If you're starting from scratch, then it can be really helpful to look up past airdrops. I would go to a place like airdrops.io, because that's
idea.
like a crowdsourced community board, basically a forum of projects that may or may not have airdrops, that have had airdrops. And that can be a good way just to see like the kind of actions you might need to take to become eligible. They list it out and they say whether or not an airdrop has been confirmed. They have sort of an index score, positive or negative sentiment. And it will tell you a little more about how you can participate in this or that airdrop. Visit the application, click login with Telegram, fund your trading account. And a lot of it is very similar stuff. Just getting familiar with what was the process, how long did it take, what was the outcome. That'll help you start to kind of tell the stuff that is legitimate from some of the stuff that's just a farm. Tori had a really good comment where she says, I find to give away free labor too much. It's hard to judge like what's going to be worth it and what's not. A lot of these campaigns are just farming you for your data, farming you for your attention so that they can report to the next round of venture capitalists, hey, we've got 12,000 more users last week.
Right.
That kind of
exactly.
thing.
Well, I
It's
also
funny,
say that airdrop farming gets more profitable in a bear market because you have fewer participants, which means the amount of money that organizations are looking to give to people, you get a bigger cut of, because in a bear market, less people are paying attention to the space, which is the opposite of what you should be doing. And if you do, you'll be rewarded for it because the airdrop is typically larger.
I'll give you an example. People who are farming Hyperliquid in 2023, peak bottom of bear market, got airdropped hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions for some people. It's the world's largest or most successful airdrop to date. So, yeah. And these were people who it wasn't hyped up. There was probably only 1,000 people using Hyperliquid during that time. And then sure enough, a year later, they all got airdropped tens of thousands of tokens. One token now is worth, $32 right now. Yeah. So imagine if you got 100,000 tokens, 5,000 tokens, you've made hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's an outlier, to be fair, but it just goes to show you, you always want to look where people aren't looking, and do some research. If you do your research and you're like, wow, this seems like a pretty solid project, verify, talk to your friends, people you've networked with, ask Evan, Alex, Will, hey, I've been checking out this thing, potentially thinking of farming. Have you heard about it? Do you think there's some upside here? What's the downside? Just talk about it and you'll learn more.
Beautifully said. The place to talk about it is community.rumshq.com. Alex, take it away.
A quick clarification on the term farming, because I've seen a couple questions about it. So when we say farming, honestly, genuinely, we mean it kind of in the literal sense. It's the idea of sowing seeds out into the DeFi, crypto, Web3 world, and then cultivating them to see what can grow. So when we say yield farming, the idea is taking an asset and using it on different DeFi protocols to earn yield, to put your money to work and earn money in return for it, to stake something here or lend it out here, or loop it over here, whatever you're doing. With regards to airdrops, it's exactly like Ruto was describing. The idea here is that, hey, there's all these chains, there are things you can do on them. I'm going to go spend a little bit of time in each of these communities and get something on my on-chain resume, some sort of on-chain activity to show to this protocol, to that platform, to this DEX, to that blockchain, whatever, that I'm here, I used the thing, I did something, and that way my name is in the running for any potential airdrops. So
Shout
the
out to-
idea of farming would just be widespread participation in the hopes that something will grow.
I am so sorry for cutting you off. I wanted to shout out our chief farming officer, who is a literal IRL farmer. So he knows what he's talking about. I'm talking about
Yes.
Bearded, who always has the update about a simple yield farm we love, Carrot. The show is not sponsored by Carrot, but it could be. Farm your carrot at 9.7% right now.
Hey man,
Five.
I am a big fan of this.
Not bad at
Great
all.
yield. Great
It's
yield.
great yield on stable coins for as much risk as holding $1. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
This is also like it. I will tell you this right now. Again, not sponsored by the Carrot, but I would be. Their token CRT is a very interesting one to read about and learn about if you want to see like unique ways that tokens can behave that aren't just speculative investment vehicles, like a thing that's going to be going up and down in price wildly and fluctuating or whatever. It works completely differently. It's a very interesting little investigative learning rabbit hole to fall into.
Yeah, that's use.deficarrot.com. And also, we would really be remiss if we didn't shout out friends of the show and sponsor partners, Gido.
I am a big fan of this.
If you also are new to yield farming, one of the things you can do is staking. If you head over to Gido, JITO.network, this is like for you to do if you're a Solana token holder, Sol tokens. They make it super easy to put your tokens to work in a single click. And then as you learn more about how to use the token you get as a receipt, they've got like a one-stop shop for other places that you can deposit those tokens. You can continue to earn additional yield as the price of Sol is, down a little. If you're accumulating or you're continuing to hold, then why wouldn't you choose to stake? The cool thing about staking on Gido is you can unstake anytime. Like pretty much the moment you decide you want your tokens back, you can get them back. So check them out. It's JITO.network. If you're in podcast land, head over to YouTube. You can see a quick, simple screen share. We've had them on the show. We've done tutorials of the platform. We will definitely do more. And then if you want to see all the sponsors who power the show and make it possible, you can head over to rumshq.com like our friends at Polygon. I actually do want to give a quick shout to a couple of sponsors because they've been busy. Okay. Did you guys see the White Whale's latest adventure?
I did.
Okay, so the White Whale was featured by our new friends of the show, Unchained. I talk all the time about the Unchained pod, the different podcasts and shows that they do, the newsletters they do. They're a great source of primary knowledge. And I got to meet Laura Shin in person at the Ethereum World Fair. She was really generous with her time. She was just so friendly, her and Juan Aranovich, who is their managing editor. And on their new show, Uneasy Money, featuring another friend of the show, Luca Netz, they had a segment about Hyperliquid, and specifically host Tevano talked about our friend, the White Whale, and how they, among many traders, have been sort of leaving Hyperliquid because they're disillusioned with this like business up front, party and back. Is it really truly decentralized when you get to make all these rules and nobody really benefits? So shout out to Unchained for great coverage. Shout out to Laura Shin for being friendly. And shout out to the White Whale for making helpful crypto education more accessible. We also got a shout out Unlock Protocol. Maybe Ruto, this is not a shade to you. They might be the nicest team in crypto. Stella is so sweet and hospitable, and Stacey is so inclusive. I mean, they're delightful. And even Julian, as much as I think he would prefer to just like sit and work on his tech, was a really friendly guy when I got to catch up and meet with them. So check out all the sponsors. We got to thank Arculus, of course, for making time to appear again on the show yesterday. Ruto, the people at Polygon, the White Whale, Unlock Protocol, Gido. Give them a round of applause, and then check out their links at rumshq.com because they've all got cool stuff you can do to go deeper in crypto. Actually, we were having a conversation about the UGC campaign yesterday.
I was going to say,
we got a lot of people who are making content and many more who are stoked to do so. Go ahead, Alex. You're going to say.
I wanted to pivot a little bit just because, Ruto, I want to give you a chance to talk about it. Because the point that I keep making is, guys, this, I can't stress enough. I'm literally begging you. first of all, if you've never made content before, I do want to acknowledge that I completely understand like the hesitation and the nerves. It took me a long time to post my very first video. And I honestly kind of like dipped my toes in by streaming on Twitch to absolutely nobody for like a good while at first. And then first video was truly terrible. And in the, 1,500 that I've posted since then, every single one, I try to make it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. But the first one is hard, but don't worry, because even if it sucks, not many people are going to see it. So you have a lot of time to like kind of practice, but please use us as a resource. I will literally help you for free if you want to make your first video. And this is a great opportunity to do it because as I'm going to make Ruto discuss right now, there's a prize pool. Like Polygon wants to inspire UGC user-generated content from as many people as possible, from as many walks of life as possible, from as many places around the world as possible, from as many topics as possible. And the barrier to entry is low as hell. Like, get in there.
Yes,
and post some stuff.
it's so low, dude. I'm telling you right now, if you guys are getting in and you're making UGC content, you are so early that the likelihood of you winning some of that prize pool is pretty high right now. So
Yes.
it will get because we're making a big push right now to get even more UGC content out. But I will say, if you make the hashtag Polygon UGC, you think no one's going to see it? I'm going to see it. A lot of people on the team are going to see it. If we like your content, I would love to even bring you guys on as ambassadors, and we can pay you. We can pay you, like, we can give you some kickback. We can support you per post if that's something you're interested in. $25, $50, $100 per post.
Great merch.
We'll send you some merch. We'll send you hoodies. We'll send you t-shirts. If it's something you guys are interested in, all you have to do is you can go to our Polygon website. So you can go to polygon.technology, or you can go to poll.polygon.technology. That's like the main hub too. If you want to find blog posts, we're updating the site right now so that it has all the most relevant topics and announcements that we've had. If you want to just make content about that, you hashtag Polygon UGC, or hashtag Polygon, hashtag UGC, hashtag Polygon UGC, anything of that sort. I'll see it. Trust me. I'll support it. I'll like it. I'll comment on it. I'll repost it. And if you start to grow your following and you're consistent with it, we would love to support you. We would love to bring you on. We'd love to, pay you for your time, for your content. If I was starting out, this would be a no-brainer for me because you get to have connections with a major protocol or chain, and you get to build your network. You also get to put your name out there. So if that's something you're interested in, man, like, this is just such a no-brainer. If it was me and I was starting out, I would 100% go hard on this, and I would try to be the number one UGC content creator. Have it, grow my following, become a partner of this protocol, and then you can scale your audience. You can scale your personal brand. You can do just so many different things. So if it's something you're interested in, like, definitely don't hesitate.
This is literally the best entry into the industry. This is how I entered the industry, because I started making content. I grew an audience by just talking about shit I was really interested in, that I was obsessed with. That audience grew. And then I started to be able to leverage that platform to get access for free to crypto events by applying for media passes to then get in and create content about the event. And then the more face time I got with all these protocols that I was talking about in my videos at conferences, because now I was invited to go to those things. That's literally how we built this entire business.
That's how I got a job. I used to host a podcast. Also, wasn't on TikTok. It was on Twitter, and I was able to talk to tons of founders, builders, and then people eventually would start reaching out, like, "Hey, like, love your takes. I've heard about your experience. Would love to, offer you a role here." So that's literally, if I didn't grow my personal brand on Twitter, for example, I definitely would not be working at Polygon. So, yeah.
You heard it here first. And if you want help from us with that, then you should head over to community.rumshq.com. Bearded said in the comments, you should pay Matthew. First of all, Bearded, shout out, has been making some really great content. What I love about our community specifically is we have people all over the world, all ages, all levels of experience. And so the diversity of content, we have Carol right now is working on like signing through some of her videos to make them accessible to the ASL community. But I do want to shout out Matthew because I know he's trying to work in crypto. He's about to graduate college. He is helpful, polite, nice guy. Right, exactly, Matthew. We were talking about how can we make Matthew the intern, and he has never really made content before. And we were like, okay, so use this as like your push. And dude created a fresh Instagram account. I'm going to put the handle on the screen. It's 0xW1L4Y for people in podcast land, and he's already put up 5 videos, and each of them is
I
really
commented
good.
on them.
I mean, they were great. They were like helpful, clear explainers. And, you know, the only way to go when you're making content is up. Like, I can't wait to see if he sticks at this.
Dude,
how good his videos are 10 from now.
I hope he
He needs
does.
to get on TikTok also.
I hope he does, because I had a call with a kid who's just graduated college too. And he asked me a question on LinkedIn, and he was like, hey man, I'm trying to get into industry. Like, what do you recommend? I told him, hey, start a Twitter account, make threads on things that you're interested in, start making content, whether it's written, video, whatever. Do 3 to 4 posts a day. If you can get to 1,000 followers, I told him that I would put him in contact with any team that he's interested in working for. Fast forward like 2 months, he had like 2 tweets that went like kind of viral, and he got an ambassador role for Polymarket. So
amazing.
I'm telling you guys, like, make content. You don't have to put your face on a video too. Like Ruto said, you can write. If you would rather write, make a Twitter. If you would rather, liaise in the business world, genuinely make a LinkedIn. Because
dude, LinkedIn's great. LinkedIn's awesome.
I was telling Ruto yesterday as I was collecting metrics for the show. We've gotten to the point where just in the last month, the show, the live stream on LinkedIn, which I'll be honest, no shade LinkedIn, I love you. Several thousand views, like just on the lives.
Yeah. Dude, I grew my following on LinkedIn during the bear market in 2023, 2022. Yeah. I grew it from like 500 to 4,000. And that opened, obviously I still get job offers to this day, almost at least 2 to 3 a week. I had founders reach out to me very consistently because I grew my following and grew my network on LinkedIn. So 100%, man, there's zero negative effects of growing your online presence within the industry that you're either trying to break into or are interested in. Zero negative aspects to it.
100%. It is the 1,000x investment. Everybody in crypto is always looking for 1,000x, a 10x, or whatever. But people say invest in yourself. It's cheesy, but like this is one super simple way to invest in yourself. Update: Matthew does have a TikTok account, same handle, 0xW1L4Y. Go follow Matthew and then jump into the community.rumshq.com. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, it's the link in our bio. I'm going to go around and get a couple of final thoughts from the friends here, but that's where you can put your final thoughts, your last questions, where the show lives 24/7, and we would love to hear from you. I often say, because it's true, the only thing missing is you. So, my friends, we've had another great show. I can't believe it's time to go, but I would love to give you the opportunity to close out strong. We did not get to discuss, I'm sure, a number of things, but final thoughts on the way out the door before we head out. We got Rise Up After Dark tonight. We got another morning show tomorrow. Will, since you're joining us from parts unknown, would you like to go first and give us your final thought?
Matt's name is 0xW4LY. Is that right?
0xW1L4Y. Had to make it tough.
Matt, I am going to be following you as soon as we're done, assuming this does not rub off, because he's a smart kid and a good guy, so I definitely want to support him.
Robot Steckler says, wait, y'all doing tomorrow? I don't know about you guys. We didn't talk about this, but I plan to make this the start of my Thanksgiving Day tradition. We did it last year. I love a good Thanksgiving Day, even though, the origins are questionable. Nothing makes me feel better than a parade, making a lot of food, eating a lot of food, having a good drink, and then pumpkin pie or whatever dessert you like. So of course we want to have a what are we thankful for Rise Up Morning Show.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing Thanksgiving tomorrow. We'll be here.
Let's-
I'll be here as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know, but final thought. I don't really have too much of a final thought. We had like some macro data come in, but like it's nothing. Rate cuts should happen still on December 10th. Keep your eyes open on the December 18th, December 19th rate decision out of the Bank of Japan. That will dramatically shake up markets. If there's a rate hike, expect everything to. If rates stay the same, hey, we could still have a little bit of a Santa Claus rally. So other than that, manage your risk. There's always a pump in a bear market, but don't always believe it until you get a confirmed bottom, right? And we in no way, shape, or form have a confirmed bottom yet. So, do your research, don't leave, stay safe from scams. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Beautiful. Alex, have you got a final thought?
Yeah, I would echo what Will said. Now is not the time to tune out. Now is the time to lock in, because regardless of how long this lasts, if it's down for a week or if it's down for a year or anything in between, or honestly longer, I'm telling you, I've been through this a couple times. If this is a bear, which then goes into the next bull, it'll be my 4th trip around this merry-go-round. I'm telling you that the highest ROI opportunities come from times like this, even if we continue to slide. And I would quote Jeff Bridges from Tron Legacy when he says, sometimes the only way to win the game is not to play. That doesn't mean that you have to start buying everything or watching super red days come around and there's a crypto that's down from its all-time high and you're like, yep, okay, going in hard. Everything can go down farther. Regardless of what the TA says, regardless of what the sentiment is, we've seen those trends get bucked repeatedly in this market. So please be careful, and please don't feel pressured to buy anything you don't have a firm understanding of, anything you're not comfortable with. If you do buy something and you find yourself in profit, don't let anyone bully you away from taking profit, because a 10 or 15% return on an investment in the short term is awesome, and you should pay yourself for making it. And no one ever went broke taking profits. So, consider paying yourself if you make a good choice.
Ruto, have you got a final thought? Last question, suggestion, good joke, or word of wisdom for the audience?
Yeah. If this is one of your first cycles, trust me, the lows always happen before the highs. Things always come back. That's why they're called cycles. There's lows and then there's highs. So patience is part of the game. Securing capital, protecting your capital is also one of the hardest skills to do. Sitting on your hands, just like you said, no trade is a trade. Make sure you guys are staying safe. Make sure you guys have an incredible Thanksgiving for those who celebrate. Say hi to your loved ones, spend time with them. But always be learning more, networking more, and things will always work out, man.
Amen, brother. If you want to follow Ruto, he is at Gian the Rios. That is GIANTHERIOS over on X. I would encourage you to follow him on X because, like he shared earlier this episode, that's where a lot of the early crypto, we say, alpha is. And of course, we want you to jump into the Rise Up community, community.rumshq.com. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, that's the best way to get in touch. So thank you, everybody.
And also, if you guys have any questions, you can always DM me on Twitter. If you need any help with anything, I always try my best to get to DMs and help people out. So don't hesitate. Please.
Also, Ruto, looking real sharp in that profile picture. That's a new profile picture for you.
It is. Yeah.
Dang, man. My girlfriend's in this app, okay? And congratulations again on your engagement, brother. That's pretty awesome. It's really pretty awesome. Okay, everybody, we got to go. Thank you for being the very best part of what we do. We'll be back. And until then, we hope that you be safe. Stay well, my friends.